Hey everybody, I am so excited to be joining you on the 10-10-21 Move Your Mental Health event. And I'm very grateful for all the work of those of you at the John W. Brick Foundation. You're just doing amazing things, and I couldn't be more honored to be a tiny part of today's event. My name is Charlie Engle, and I'm coming to you from Durham, North Carolina. And as you may have noticed, I'm running. So that's right, Move Your Mental Health is near and dear to my heart. I am an ultra distance runner, which means that I run pretty silly distances for my mental health, not to mention my physical health and my spiritual health. I started back in 1992 doing ultra distance events, and that was the year that I changed my life. I became sober from a 10-year really bad stretch of drug addiction and alcoholism. And movement for me, specifically running, became my salve, became the thing that I needed equally, along with my other forms of addiction treatment, like recovery meetings and therapy sessions. And way back then, I sort of coined a phrase that I still say today and use in my everyday life. And it's pretty simple. If you don't feel good, you can't get well. And I would just say that maybe a little too often in the addiction recovery space and in many therapies, physical movement is overlooked, or it's placed number 3 or 4 or 5 on the list of therapies. And again, it's my contention that especially someone who's been through trauma and stress and maybe some big life-changing issues like addiction or some form of PTSD, to take that person on day one and sit them down in a plastic chair and expect them to be able to express their feelings or to dig deeply to get to the root cause of what's going on, I think that's pretty unrealistic. It's just not the way we're built. I know for me, anyway, if my body doesn't feel good, if my blood flow's not working, if my brain health isn't good, I really couldn't, I might tell you how I'm feeling, but I'm not sure I can actually be honest about it. So I am, just for those who might want to know, I was the first person ever to actually run all the way across the Sahara Desert a few years back. I ran nearly 5,000 miles with a couple of teammates across the entire Sahara. That was 2 marathons every single day for 111 consecutive days across the world's biggest desert. I don't recommend it, but for me, it was an exercise in celebrating my sobriety and the fact that I am a cultural explorer. And when I was drinking and using drugs, the only thing I was exploring was maybe the inside of a dumpy motel room. So once I began to run, my life changed. And I can actually say that running really saved my life. But then running gave me a life. So it's not always about just feeling better. It's then about what are you going to do with it. So I do want to give a little practical advice. I'm not really an advice giver because the only person that I feel like I have the right to give advice is maybe myself, and a lot of that is even dubious. But the fact is, I've been clean and sober for 29 years. I have managed to find my way through the decades of difficulties and life's ups and downs and all the things that come our way physically, mentally, and emotionally. So when I speak to big crowds, I always talk about running, and I usually ask the crowd to raise their hands if they hate running. All right, tell the truth. How many of you raised your hand right then? My statement to you would be, it's not running you hate, it's maybe how running makes you feel while you're doing it. Everybody loves being out in nature, breathing in fresh air, getting your body moving, feeling that burn, getting some blood flow. Everybody loves the results and how running gives you that euphoric feeling, primarily when you're finished, of course, but nonetheless, that runner's high, if you will, really does exist, but you have to give it an opportunity to actually take hold, and that doesn't happen in one day or 1 week or 1 month. It's about lifestyle changes, small, incremental lifestyle changes. So very much like a New Year's Eve resolution, which pretty much never works because people set their goals too high and too far reaching. So my suggestion is this: if you're interested in running, start by walking. A pretty amazing concept, right? So what I really mean is, rather than focus on mileage, focus on time. So if you're interested in going out for a walk, pick how much time you got to spare. Let's say 30 minutes. All right, so you go out for 30 minutes, you start walking, and I mean just a slow, steady walk for the first few minutes. And slowly over the course of the first 5 minutes, you begin to pick it up. Whatever that means to you. For some people, it'll mean speed walking. For others, it will look like just a very casual walk. It doesn't really matter. That's not the point. Getting out the door is probably the hardest part. So once you've been out for about 5 minutes and maybe you're feeling a little breathy and you got some blood flow going, pick it up to the fastest pace that you can comfortably walk. After 10 minutes, what I want you to do is to jog for 30 seconds and then walk for 1 minute and then jog for 30 seconds and walk for 1 minute, jog for 30 seconds, walk for 1 minute. You get the idea. And I want you to do that for 10 minutes. But look, when I say jog, this isn't PE class from junior high school, all right, where you're trying to beat everybody in the class. I'm talking about, you know, a shuffle, very much like what I'm doing right now, which is actually not that fast. Okay, but I've been doing this a long time. So the point is, A, get yourself out the door, get some blood flow going, trust the fact that you're going to enjoy the fresh air and the blood flow. Your brain's going to work better. You're going to just be able to function. You're going to think better. And if you're like me, you'll probably be able to actually talk a little better too. And you can wave to friends as they go by. And at the end of this 30 minutes, you should not feel spent. You should feel energized. You should feel happy. You should feel like you just lit a match under your entire day. And the feeling is one of happiness and fulfillment and satisfaction. The point of exercise is not to feel like crap when you're done. It's to breathe in the fresh air, engage the planet, wave to other people out in the world, and reintroduce yourself if you haven't seen them for a while, and just be outside and just keep moving. So anybody who wants more information can find me at charlieengle.com. I'm sure you guys would be kind enough to put up the information. I'm on all the social media platforms. You can find me to ask questions about addiction, sobriety, running. I am excited to tell you that I am now leading the charge at the Chopra Foundation for addiction and recovery, and we are working on some amazing programs to help bring people freedom from addiction. And that's not a false promise. It can happen. So, all right, everybody, that's enough for me. I got some more miles to cover, and enjoy the rest of the event, and hopefully we'll all be together in person sometime soon. All right, see you guys down the trail.